Hey, what is up everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube video with your host Kenkukun, and today we're going to be talking about Destiny 2, The Reckoning. Also, we're going to be talking about PVE and a little bit on where it is right now for me as a gamer and how it ties into Destiny's overall just lack of content, so to speak. So first off, we're going to talk about The Reckoning 2, a little tip slash guide review sort of thing before we dive into that. So, The Reckoning came out with Season of the Drifter. It goes hand in hand with Gambit Prime, where Gambit Prime you would play one round of Gambit against another team. Reckoning is where you fight just NPCs with a team of, well, up to 4 players. And you get the armor that you use in Gambit Prime that give you all the little perks like increasing your moat carrying capacity from 15 to 20, seeing invaders, marking high value targets, so on and so forth. Again, I will not go into details of the armor. I'll do an armor review when I get level 3 armor. I get to use all the perks, and I'll just kind of see like, oh, this is kind of cool, this is kind of cool, and this is not kind of cool. Or, you know, things like that. So for now, every time I've talked about the armor, it's there. This is where you get it. So level 2 starts off like level 1. You come into this big area after you've put your moat into the moat deposit bank. You kill enemies, increase your dominance, and you have a set time to do it, just like level 1 Reckoning. Team composition. I've been running my well through the Reckoning this whole time. In level 1 and 2, I am under leveled for this, so this is helpful for people that are under level 2. Your whole team could be relatively under level to a degree. So yesterday was Void Singe. We had Nova Bombs and we had Sentinel Shields around, and we had tethers. Tethers I feel like is a must. If you're under leveled, a tether is going to help you go a long way. A Nova Bomb is just going to deal a crap ton of damage. I'll bet the enemy's not, immune by these goblins. And then the well is just going to keep your team alive. Now in this part you really don't, the well isn't necessary for this particular part, but it's very helpful for me. And your teammates could easily just stand in this one location and just kill enemies back and forth between the spawn locations. They don't really have to travel anywhere, so your whole team could be standing in the well, never dying and never worrying about anything. And as the warlock with the chest piece that gives you your super back, on top of it, you're going to get your super back for assists and kills while inside your well, and you're going to get your grenade back a lot. So you can spam grenades. It's like 2-second grenades, right? That the warlock used to have on the Void Walker. So you got that going for you. So I would recommend the well. I would recommend a tether, Orpheus Rigs. Those two I feel like are a must-have if you're really under-leveled. And then at least one super that's just going to deal the damage. So a Nova Bomb is fine. A Sentinel was fine. Anything that's going to kind of really work with the Singe of the day, if there is one. And yesterday, at the time of this recording, well, at the time of this recording, I don't know what it is, but the time of this video clip was Void Singe. So that's probably why I seen a Sentinel and Nova Bombs. Fire Knives, I didn't see do too much work yesterday. I seen them once or twice, and I was just like, yeah, they're not doing too well. Double sniped, wow. So, there's lots of things that can one-shot me. The hardest thing I had to deal with was taken Centurions and their Axiom darts. So, after level 1, you complete it, you get from 0 to 100%, and then you move on to part 2 of the Reckoning level 2, excuse me. My throat's, I apologize guys, my throat's been dry all day. I've tried to do this recording like 6, 7, 8 times, and I just cannot get over that dry feeling in my throat. I've drank water, I ate some food, and it's just there. So if I pause for a moment, I'm probably going to drink a water. If I clear my throat, I apologize. It's just going to be what it is today. So here's part 2. This is not the end, because there is a part 3, but this is one of the more challenging parts for teams that are underleveled. You got a lot of things attacking you, a lot of things happening. So you have to go from point to point. There are 6 places on the bridge you have to capture. You have a limited time. The first one you get 1 minute. The second one is about 30 seconds, and everyone after that is about 30 seconds. You have whatever enemy of the day it is for your set, or enemy of the session, I would say. This time it's ogres for us. I've seen witches, I've seen phalanxes, which were the biggest nuisance because they could knock you off the stage. My goodness. And then you have snipers on the outskirts of the maps. They're always there. They respawn if you kill them. They travel with you, all the platforms. They jump down from platform to platform as you move up the bridge. So this is where the Well of Dawn really helps. This is where the tether really helps. And then the Nova Bombs or Sentinel Shields help, because taking that ogre out, the one I'm looking at, as you move forward, second, third wave, and so on and so forth, an enemy will spawn as you get there in front of you, while enemies are spawning behind you. And then another enemy should, if I turn around, there should be another ogre right about there. And I guess not. Further on, a second one will spawn like halfway through the capture zone. So you want to keep capturing these zones. Again, if the Well of Dawn dies on your team, you need to make sure to get them up. So if you're a hunter running tether, and you're running the good tether, not quiver, the anchored one, just go invisible, pick them up, and that Well of Dawn needs to get to the location and drop the well, no matter what. And then just keep killing enemies. I just spammed my grenades a lot. I took out snipers here and there if I thought they were a big nuisance. And then I move forward. So you got to do this 6 times. It's pretty simple. The tethers can go in front. They can go behind. It doesn't matter. The tethers are going to get their super back. Everyone usually will get their super back here. Now, if there was something else that was giving us super energy that I didn't notice about, like this specific area, maybe everyone just gets super energy because this area is pretty tough. I have no idea. So that could be a thing. I don't know. But wearing your gear that's going to give you your super energy back is really good. And this is where I forget to go forward. So here we are. We're coming up to number 6. This is 6. We have 5 of 6. This is 6. And there's, hello, another ogre. So we're going to stand in this zone, raise it up, and you're going to see us move forward. Now, this is, again, the second part of the Reckoning Level 2. We're going to come into the third part of the Reckoning Level 2. And, wow, that ogre is pretty deadly. Aside from phalanxes knocking you off the map, those guys can be just as big of a nuisance knocking you out of the zone. So, you know, I don't know what's harder for most people. I didn't like the people that were knocking me out. So now you're in level 3, this little area. The objective here is the 2 champion knights that you've seen, you have to kill them. So, kind of like Gambit Prime, there's going to be a witch that you're going to go kill, or it's going to be something. I've seen a knight as well, so it could be whatever, but this time it's a witch. You're going to come over here, you're going to kill it, a well of light's going to pop up out of the ground. It's going to allow you to deal extra damage to the champions, and you're going to want to destroy them. If you can burn them down in one phase, that's perfect, but just like the champions in like the Shattered Throne, if you or the Ascendant Challenge in the Dreaming City, if you shoot their head off and they are just a brain, well, they're going to start running at you, and that could be problematic. They're already one-shotting me and my team, and some of these guys I think are like at 661, right? So they're within a 10 level radius, but I am under it. So enemies keep endlessly spawning. We ran out of time. We ran out of time for that well. We didn't kill him, so another witch is going to spawn somewhere around this map, and it should be on my screen. I'm just not paying attention. There it is. I'm going to go run over there to it, and we're going to kill it. So it's just a rinse and repeat of just killing the boss, the 2 champions. Now, let's say you want to keep the champions away from this well until your teammates are ready. Don't worry. If the champions are really far, when you kill this witch, they will teleport to you. So you do not have to worry about them getting there in time. So if you want to like dance around with the knights towards the center of the map, if you can keep them there, that's fine. Just, dance around the center of the map, jump over their heads back and forth. They're going to miss a lot of swings, and that's all there really is to this place. The only other thing I need to note is the lake around us. It's this shadowy lake. If you land in that lake, touch that lake at all, your super starts to drain. So you're losing super energy. It's like the darkness, in raids. Oh, you're about to die, and it drains your super a little bit, so, self-reses didn't happen in Destiny 1. 2, you cannot jetpack, you cannot sprint. You can hop, but that does you no good. As you can see, I'm going to touch it right here, and I lost a little super energy. So that's other than that, there's like a finite amount of space you can work with. Still not too bad. So that's really all there is about Destiny 2's The Reckoning Level 2. Boom, we completed it. And then we go back, get our rewards out of the thing. It comes with level 2 perks. And that's all that is. So now we're going to kind of move into a little bit less of the review and more of the what I think about Destiny's PVE and the future it's going in. Alright, so this is kind of the review. I liked it. You know, when Reckoning 1 came out, I said, man, if this is all there is to it, it's going to be boring really fast. I'm going to do it, get the armor, and never come back again. And I still kind of stand by that statement, even though they added a little bit more to it. I'm just like, well, that's fine and all, but it's the same stuff I've been seeing for 4 years now, so to speak. So let me go ahead and define the definition of new when it comes to games for me. Now, if you say new content is coming, I'm like, great, what is it? Well, we're going to come out with a new game mode for PvE. But if it's the same enemies, same mechanics, just a different layout, like the Reckoning is, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's cool for a week. But what else do you got? If you don't have anything else, that's not too new to me. That's just like, whatever. So that's how I feel about Destiny's PvE. And it's been like that since probably the last year of Destiny 1. About the last calendar year of Destiny 1. So when they came out with the Axis raid, I did that a few times. I got done with that. That was, relatively And that whole springtime, they didn't come out with anything really. And it just kind of wore on me. Destiny's PvE just wore on me at that point. It was, I'm tired of fighting big bosses, and every big boss mechanic is just knock you back when you get close. It's, Destiny's new races are always some variation of what's already there. You have the Forsaken, which are just, well, lo and behold, it's the Fallen. They're just not Fallen. They're worse. They're Scourge. Then you have the Taken, which is a reskin of everything with slightly new mechanics. And that was, kind of a cool direction to step in. Everything kind of came with new mechanics, but it was also a lot of the same mechanics at the same time. Excuse me, 1 second while I clear my throat. Alright, I highly apologize. So, again, when Destiny's PvE comes around, I'm just like, man, I really want more to the experience. I want new things, not just new game modes. In PvP, I'm fine with new game modes because what makes the experience different is not only just the game mode, it is the players you play against. It's never the same game because you're playing against different people, more or less, different players, and that's going to change the experience all the time. You're not, granted, the meta aside, you're not going to see the same enemy with the same weapon all the time, but, again, let's take the meta aside. Usually that's not the case. But even if you do, their playstyle is different. Your playstyle may change. And that's kind of what keeps PvP going for me. Is, just the slight variety. And the longevity of PvP has always been a big boon to shooters. So when it comes to PvE, I don't want the same thing over and over and over and over and over like Destiny's been doing for 4 years. I want something new. So again, that's why I say, not only is Destiny's PvP kind of hit a very weird and unbalanced place, but 2, a very stagnant and not as rewarding, just rewarding as in fun and rewarding as in time put into the game experience. And the same with PvE. The raids come out, they're phenomenal. They're really good. They're really well done, but I do them once and then I move on. It's the raid. But what about the strikes? Those are kind of boring. The seasonal events, those, again, different settings, same things. The Halloween one that came out was relatively well. I liked it. It was a different take, but then it was just, the same enemies. It's just like, I would like to see more change. I want the world to evolve and advance over time. I want the enemies to do the same. The Vex, for crying out loud, they time travel or time manipulate to a degree. Now, if you're a lore junkie, please don't come over here and attack me because I don't know the lore too much. Ever since they didn't bring it in Destiny 1, and I've watched a few videos here and there, if I say something that's not entirely true to the lore, I apologize. But again, facts, time travel, they should be always developing something new. If it hasn't worked the first time, what's going to make it work the second, third, or fourth, or fifth millionth time? They need to do something different. You would expect them to do something different. New Vex, new mechanics, blah, 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 right? From a game standpoint, from a developer standpoint, that is time. That is not easy. You got a lot of thought and process to go into it. From a logic standpoint, it just makes sense, and I get that. Two separate types of processes. Processes? Whatever. So that's kind of how I feel about Destiny's PVE, and there's, I really can't break it down that much. But in a nutshell, that's relatively all it is. You got these champions. They're here. All right, cool. So it's mixing the champions with Gambit Prime mechanics. That's fine, but it's the same enemies. If they would have put this Reckoning is relatively cool. I like it, but once I get the armor again, I'm not coming back. There will be no reason. 1, 2. I hope the Reckoning 3 adds just a little bit more after this. That would be cool. It's like, man, Bungie. It's new content. There's a lot to it. What am I going to get out of it? Now, if there's exclusive weapons here too, someone said this is where they're getting the weapons. I'm like, well, I didn't get a single weapon. So if they're getting weapons out of this game mode, I need to, look into that, and maybe I come back here more after I get all the armor. But at the same time, I'm just like, meh, don't really care, because if the weapon doesn't have Magnificent Howl on it, it's not going to do me any good. I'm just going to die in PvP. To something that does have Magnificent Howl, like, I don't know, the Luna's Howl or the Not Forgotten. So when it comes to weapons, if it's not something really cool, unique, or fun to use that I can use in PvP, I don't usually want it. To a degree, PvE, I'm glad I got some of the weapons I do, like the 1K, the Wardcliff, etc., etc. There are some weapons for PvE that help me out a lot. So if I just came around with a PvP setup, I would probably have a long time grind in PvP, because I'd be using the hand cannon and a shotgun, and I'm just like, man, I really need some of this PvE stuff. But it's hard for me to sometimes get this PvE stuff because it's just so bland and boring of a grind. It's not fun anymore. That could just be, I'm just done with PvE stuff in general. I don't think so, because I play other games that have PvE in it, and I enjoy them. But after so many hours, yeah, I'm just like, meh. So it's par for the course at that point. You're gonna get tired of doing the same thing over and over. Everyone does. So I think this is, where Destiny going forward with PvE, they kind of need to start reinventing the wheel here that they have. They got a wheel. It just, add some cards up in there. Let us hear them flaps. Something. You need something. For those that are too young to know what it sounds like to put a card in your bicycle's spokes, right, and have that stuff flap around, you're missing out. You're missing out. So, get on that. Same thing with PvP. They don't need to really reinvent the wheel. It just needs to be more balanced. And they, again, that's a whole different topic. I have a video kind of talking about some of the issues with PvP. And going forward, if I can think of anything else with PvE as a problem, I will. But once again, I'll repeat it. And sorry for sounding like a broken record. They just need new mechanics, core mechanics. So I think once they get that, it kind of really refreshes everyone, right? So again, hopefully you enjoyed this session of the video. I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I apologize for all the dry throat today. The recording I wish would have been a little bit better, but I didn't want to. I've done this recording like 10, 11 times already. And it's just this dry throat. It just keeps making me restart the recording, no matter how much scripting I've written down. So I'm just like, man, I can't do it again. So thank you for bearing with me. If you like it, hit that subscribe button, leave a thumbs up. If you want to see a video on content going into the future or my thoughts on a topic, please leave it in the comments below. You can catch me on Twitter at Kenkukun, on Twitter, twitter.com/Kenkukun, or you can watch my live streams on Twitch, twitch.tv/Kenkukun_game. I'm going to try to put the links into the comments below. But usually I put those links after I put descriptions for the video, or if I made a misinformed statement in the video, I will have a correction first and foremost in the comments, so that you'll have to click on the more to properly see my links for my social media and my other outlets of gaming media. So again, thank you. Have a good day, evening, night, morning, and if you're Aquaman, I would love to see you and get your autograph. Have a good day. See you soon.